Who's that sexy person walking by?
You should be watching this video for your sun, moon, rising sign, or Venus sign. But the moon's going to resonate the best for you, most likely. So if you don't know your moon sign, check in the description box below, and there's a link there that'll help you figure out what that is. You could also be watching this if your partner or ex-partner is of this sign. And a good idea is that sometimes when these videos come out right away, they're going to resonate right away, and sometimes they're not. So yes, a personal reading is going to give you the most accurate information, but also sometimes these energies don't click with us because these things haven't happened yet. They're going to happen mid-November, or they're going to happen at the end of November. So keep that in mind too. You could bookmark it, come back to it, or you could just say, fuck it all, I don't like this bitch. That's your prerogative. But let's just get started with your video. Libra, Libra, Bobibra, Banana, Fena, Fofibra. It's Libra singles time. Okay, so what's going on, Libra singles in the month of November? So those of you who are newly single, this is mostly for you. Some of you are considering yourself single, but like your divorces are finally becoming final, papers are getting filed, that kind of thing. And so you're like, oh my gosh, the reality is hitting me. This is hopeless. I don't want to, have things be the way they were in the past, but I'm not really meeting anyone that I want to be with now. So that kind of sucks. But in general, what is it that you want? And they're like, you just want the drama to end. And also like in ways where you just feel kind of unbalanced with your finances, your schedule, things like that. You're like, this is driving me fucking crazy. Especially for those of you who have issues with money right now. That's super hard, and it feels like there's not like a lot of decision that you can make about it. Now I know this is a love reading, it's not a money reading, but they're like, that's affecting you as far as love goes. So what is it that you actually need in the month of November? And they're like, well, you need to realize that there is support out there for you in the form of friendships, actual like systems in place to help you out. You're just not seeing them. And they're like, you might not see them right away. Or maybe you have these ideas in your mind like, oh, well, I don't want to be on food stamps because, these are my impressions and things like that. But you know what? Maybe it's just for a while or something like that. Like some of you are going through some stuff and it's like really affecting your ability to be able to welcome in new love. Even though it has nothing to do with love, it's affecting that, okay? So how is it that you're going to get what you want and what you need? And they're saying like, when you're thinking about things like in the longer term, you might be coming into contact with people, or maybe this is your ex and you're trying to figure stuff out with them, because that's going to be the case for some of you. You want the same thing at the end of the day, but you have different ideas on what that looks, right? So for example, you both want a divorce, but one of you thinks it should go this way, or you should have this much custody, and somebody thinks, the opposite. So they're like, don't kill yourself to work this out in the month of November, because if you do, you're going to end up as a Libra who's all about balance, you're a people pleaser, kind of going for a deal that you don't actually want, okay? So drag it out. Totally drag it out. What is it that you need to release in the month of November? The fact that anybody else might look at you and say you're selfish, because you're totally not selfish. You're not the most generous sign in the zodiac, but that's not a bad thing. Like, you're actually super fair and balanced. And so, like, if they have an impression of you that's that way, that's coming from, like, it's a mirror, right? They're reflecting their own ego, because that's not you. It's not. So don't let what they say to you, what they think about you, really affect you. Okay, so let's get back to love and see what we can expect. And they're like, things will just be different than they were in the past. But it's like maybe a part of your subconscious isn't actually wanting love right now because of other situations. So your overall lesson or thing to focus on in the month of November, so we can turn this all around before December shows up, is to understand like our feelings of fear, envy, that kind of a thing, that you're the same as everyone else, you just have different challenges, right? So a good example of this is like if you are one of these people who's getting a divorce and you have your child all of the time and like all the financial burdens and things associated with that, maybe it's hard to date because you have your kid all the time, and it's like you look at this person, your ex, and you're like, oh, how nice that you get to just like run around and do whatever you want all the time and like no responsibilities. But they're like, you know what? They probably have other challenges that you don't. For example, they maybe have to miss their child more than you do, or things that you can't even see. And so they're saying, like, what you really want to focus on in an affirmation you want to use is I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So this is also going to be in regards to creative solutions to get yourself out of this kind of mess that you're in. It's not necessarily a mess that you created, but it's happening to you right now, and it's having a negative effect on your ability to draw in a relationship, okay? So get creative with how you spend your time, your energy, all of that, all right? Now moving on to coupled Libras in the month of November, what are we going to expect in general? Ooh, okay, if you're trying to get pregnant, excellent month. They're saying follow your gut instincts this month, though, as well. They're saying really having this focus on your partner and what it is that you're desiring. Awesome. They're like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, because it's going to otherwise be a really awesome month for you and your partner. There's a lot of new adventure, new opportunities. And like I said, you could totally get pregnant this month. So if that's something you don't want, be careful. But if it's something you do want, yeah, it'll be a very lusty and exciting month for you. Okay, so moving on from there, what is it that you should keep doing in the month of November? And they're like, this is interesting, because it's almost like we're of two camps. So if your relationship is not feeling super good and stable, like very happy walking into November, they're like, you know what? Universal forces are going to change that. And it's going to be like circumstances that change on many levels, like in your love life, your communication, your finances, job, that kind of a thing. They're all going to change, or at least at the very minimum, your perspective is going to change. And then by the time we get to the end of November, moving into December, you'll start to see those changes. So they're like, for some of you, you might not be feeling deeply emotionally bonded and connected to your partner. But they're like, if you make slow, steady effort to change that, then things will start heading in a really positive direction. And this is where I'm saying, though, that, like, some of you are there's, like, two camps here, that some of you, though, are just going to kind of, like, come to this realization that your partner is not really good for you, they're not for your highest good, and you're going to be like, you probably won't do anything about it, actually, but you'll be thinking it, which is the first step to doing something. So congrats on that. Okay, what is it in general as far as advice that we need to do in the month of November for our love lives if we are coupled, Libras? And what I'm getting here is, like, they're saying basically don't worry about things because worrying doesn't change outcomes, and have a lot of tact when you speak to your partner. And this is going to always be the case anyway for Libra, because you always think before you speak. You're very smart. You think about a lot of things. You're able to actually kind of neutralize toxic situations before they become toxic. So props to you. Keep being your Libra self. But then here's the other thing. They're saying, I need to just kind of release any beliefs that don't assist my soul's higher growth, right? And so this is why they're like, when you're worrying about things, just stop. Because a lot of the things that we think about are actually not ever going to happen, or maybe they're unhealthy. And so just let that shit go. Now, for those of you who are Libras, but you're in between, you're in an on-again, off-again relationship, or maybe it's just not official, they're like, you're going to need to get more sleep. You need more rest. That rest is going to help you focus and be less of a bitch. So, okay, good. You might be like snapping a little bit, or maybe miscommunications are happening because you're meaning to say something one way and then it's interpreted wrong because of your tone or something like that, something you're not entirely aware of. So get a lot of sleep. what is it you should keep doing, and what is it something you should stop doing. Now, what is it that you should keep doing? If you're resting, do it, because it's gonna they're like, not working so hard, like not pushing yourself to the max is gonna be the best thing for you, because that's gonna keep you from going crazy. Okay? Now, what should you stop doing? They're like, stop pretending like things don't hurt your feelings and be honest about it. You know, if there's something that's bothering you, but you're trying to have that tact and you're not really speaking about it because, you know, maybe you don't want to stir the pot, they're like, you have to be honest. Now, your lesson or affirmation for November is you got to accept the things you can't change, right? And so that's what they're saying there when they're talking about not avoiding how you're feeling, not avoiding communicating that. So love and light. See you in December, and best of luck and love. Bye.